granite clay, gold clay, brown clay, and an X-Acto knife. These are the basic tools, but you might need some more things. First, take your brown clay, roll it out, and flatten it. Make sure it's not too thin because this is going to be our door. Next, take a razor blade and cut out a flat bottom. Take your X-Acto knife and carve out the shape of the top of the door. This may take a little while and you may want to sketch out the shape first with like a needle tool or a dotting tool, but I decided to do it freehand. Once you've done that, just pull it apart. Now take your fingers and just lightly smooth out the edges. Remember, this doesn't have to be perfect because we're trying to give an illusion of an old door. Next, take your granite clay and roll it out into a slightly thin log. This is going to be used to make the stones. Now take your razor blade or your X-Acto knife and cut out different pieces. Make sure they're not the same size because stones should be different sizes. Then roll them out with your fingers. I tried to create as many different sizes as I could. As you can see, they're like different shapes too. Next, I'm taking my razor blade and just making an indent on the middle of a door. This gives the illusion that there are two sides of the door. Now I'm also taking my razor blade and making little indentations on the door to give the effect of wood. Also, make sure this isn't perfect. Make some of them deeper, some of them shorter. Do this on the back too. I decided to leave the sides clean, but you can also make marks on those if you choose. Now it's time to add the stones. I found this a little bit difficult because the clay wouldn't stick. So you can use TLS or Fimo Deco Gel or whatever you please if that's more easy. Here you can see I'm doing a lot of trial and error because the stones would roll around and I'll just push it back down. You can squeeze them together and you'll start getting a little stone lining like this. Make sure you don't squeeze them too hard or they will lose their shape. And this is what it should look like. Try to make them different shapes, as uneven as possible. Next, take your gold clay, cut it out into a rectangle. This should be pretty thin because this is going to be the handles of our door. Or rather the handle base. The actual handle loops will come later. So I made a big rectangle first, then I cut that in half. Then I cut that again in half, and then we have the two sides of our door handle. So they should be like thin rectangles like this. Now I'm using a dotting tool here, or you can use your fingers to just put it on top of the door, and I pressed it down. I gave it a bumpy texture too. Next, roll out a really thin slice, or thin roll rather, of gold clay, and chop off a little piece. And I use my dotting tool again to put it on the door handle, and this is a little tricky, so just keep trying. I did trial and error. I took the other side and looped it around so it looks like the handle of a door. Now I'm taking my needle tool and making 4 dots. This gives it more of a metallic look, and do that to both of the handles. And that's it, you're done. Your ancient door is finished.